Hello, my dear audiences. Welcome once again to the show of G&E. At this show we call From East to West. We pay lots of attention to things passing by us, things that are happening around us. And this year, without adding it again, it is a 70th anniversary in commemoration of World War II, and also in commemoration of the Nanking massacre that happened in China, southern part of China, during the war invasion to China by the Japanese criminals. Joining me, or by the way, this is the 16th on my count of the series, of the 70th anniversary series of the World War II program. We want to make it a constant call to people, especially to our future generation, that whatever happened in the past, we make sure are not going to happen again. Right? So, yes. Joining me are my two wonderful friends, Mr. Ken Hemming, a writer and a commentator, and a philosophical kind of friend. I always say that.
Hope so.
Mr. Ken Hemming.
Thank you, Jack. Happy to be here, and your viewers, and of course with my friend Mark.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And to his left side is my good friend Mark Liu. He's the founder and the CEO of the Commemoration Committee of Nanking Massacre.
Yes.
And he has lately been very busy with the preparations for all kinds of events for the special year that marks the 70th anniversary. Right. So, to you, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Okay. If you pay attention or care about the news, you have already probably heard about Shinzo Abe, his statement made recently concerning the World War II as his remarks, right? Which by now has drawn lots of attention, lots of rebounds, criticisms, denouncing by people who are supposed to be peace lovers. Right? This may include not only people from China, but also people from the United States and people in France, people in Italy, in England, almost everywhere in the world, they go against it. So we started with that comment. Right, so what have you heard, Cam, about Shinzo Abe, his statement, quote unquote?
Well, I have it here. I've read it several times, and there are some things that stand out. As we talked about before, in 1995, Tomoichi Muragama, Prime Minister, made probably the closest thing to a deep, heartfelt apology for the Japanese atrocities in World War. Well, but it's the closest thing that we've had, and since then it kind of gets watered down a little bit. And some other interesting thing that just happened also is the Emperor Akihito, for the first time ever, used, I think from a sincere standpoint, deep remorse in his comments about World War II. And also in Abe's, a lot of it is about thanking the tolerance for the Allies that helped rebuild Japan and allowed him to get back into the world order, in the world of nations, in a functional and positive way. But, he indicated in here he doesn't want the children of the generations subsequent to the World War II generation to be predestined to have to keep apologizing. And he says what has been done cannot be undone. So it's sort of soft. He did not go to that the shrine this year, which he has in some past years, where they have some war criminals buried, as well as just regular war dead. So he's, I think the sincerity is there, but I don't think it fully satisfies the Chinese people and in some of the world.
Do you think he was sincere in his statement?
He almost like emphasized not necessary for generation to generation to keep apologize. That means just to his generation. In the future, not necessary any longer. But they didn't even apologize to before.
There's none at all.
So how could he say, okay, stop here, not pass on to the next generation to predestine it to apologize.
All right.
So that means he's going to forget it and tell the next generation to forget it either. But I have a few words I got from others that said, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. So if he just wanted to stop at his generation, no more apology, and not predestined to apologize in the future, that means he wanted to be forget. And if he want the whole generation or the whole Japanese to forget it, I use other people's words, those who cannot learn from history are doomed to repeat it. So Japanese people could repeat it again and cause disasters.
Really? Can I remember that the last few shows you mentioned your visit to Germany?
Yes, sir, to Berlin.
To Berlin.
Right.
Whereby you see slogans.
Never forget, all over the town.
Forget.
Never forget.
Never forget. What does never
And
forget
I like that.
mean? Does that mean keep on apologizing? Keep on with
No,
apologizing?
no. You know, there's a difference, I think, between apologizing and remembering and learning. And you know, apologies are good. I don't know that they have to go on eternally, but you must remember what happened in Germany and how one incredibly despotic individual, Hitler, came to power and the people followed him blindly, okay? Because that's the difference between patriotism but in Tokyo, and I've also gone to Tokyo to feel the spirit over there. You don't hear anything about it, you don't see anything about it.
Yes, yes. They
don't talk about it.
The Germans did apologize.
Oh, absolutely,
Right?
of course.
And followed by those reminders we'll never forget.
And the other thing that complicates it is the Germans, really, a lot of them the war criminals were hung and whatever when they were tried, but very few Japanese war criminals were ever tried and executed.
Of course. That's
Big difference there, that's politics.
That's in addition.
Correct, right.
That's in addition.
Yes.
And Japan, I believe nobody has ever apologized officially.
No, not
Right?
officially. Just
Even
use
including
word.
in 1995. Nobody had ever officially apologized. Now, this is number one. Number two, the history part has been taken away from their textbooks. How
They don't
are
teach,
the kids
right.
in the future in Japan supposed to remember what had happened in the past? What their grandfathers and great-grandfathers have done or did during the wartime as war criminals, right? So this is totally wrong. This is totally against history, right? My dear audiences, I did a little research that I would like to share with you. The total casualty of World War II, I have a number, a statistic here, a total including direct death and indirect death, which means dying death of a famine, of disaster, other disasters, or disease, so on and so forth. Those all together, during World War II, the total death, right, it was between 70 to 85 million, which takes a 3.0 to 3.7% of the population then.
Sure, that's huge.
That's huge, right?
That's huge.
And then, speaking of China part, all right, during the war, Japanese invasion to China during the war, I go total. That time, the total population, total population in 1939, by January the 1st, in China, it was 517,568,000, right?
Yeah.
Out of which there is 2.9 to 3.86% died. Among the deaths, right, there is a direct from military action. There are 3 to 3.75 million. Okay, to include, the civil death due to military action and the crimes against the humanity. You're talking about civilians, right? 7.357. That means 7,357,000 to 8,191,000 total death, civilian death, right? Okay, put these two numbers in total. You are talking about, let's see, a total death of 15 million to 20 million. That takes the population, once again, 2.9 to 3.6 of the total Chinese population back then.
Yeah, it's funny because I didn't know you were
Anybody,
doing, yeah.
anybody could forget that. Anybody
No, you
could
shouldn't.
forget that kind of debt. Or could that, by any chance, could that kind of debt be excused, be forgiven without a proper official apology? A 90-degree bow with lots of payment and compensation to the war crimes? So that's unfair. That's unfair. I won't accept it. So, my dear audience, this is the 16th time we're talking about World War II, especially we're talking about during which period of time China was invaded, and I have these numbers that I just read to you, that lives were taken, right? So somebody's husband, somebody's father, right?
Absolutely.
Somebody's son.
And a lot of
Member of the family.
Member of the family. All right. So we don't want to take it easy, and we can't take it easy. We can't afford taking it easy, my dear audiences. Please, let's take a short moment out. When we come back, we'll continue.